First thing we got into this week was Cobra Kai Season 2. And Cobra Kai is an American action comedy drama web television series presented in an episodic storytelling format and based on the Karate Kid film series. This one started on YouTube, and I don't think a lot of people seen it. And now it's on Netflix, and Netflix is they're the stream king. So now people are watching it. So let's talk about Cobra Kai Season 2 and Season 1 if you want, because we didn't really get a good fair shake the first time we talked about it. What did you guys think?
It was awesome.
Do you like this?
He didn't watch it. Why didn't you watch it, Andrew?
You didn't watch the original Karate Kids, have you?
Correct.
You did not.
Okay. I forgot to. I was gonna message you early last week and tell you, don't watch it unless you're gonna watch the original.
You have to.
Yes.
You have to know the source material.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was 3 Karate Kids.
Yep. There's 3.
There's actually 4, but
they're all pretty good.
5 if you count the kid remake.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually didn't mind that movie.
Oh, the Will Smiths.
Yeah,
the Will
I wasn't
Smith.
totally against it.
He
The
gets his
Will
own
Smith one.
proper article, the Will Smith. Well, for those of us that actually did watch it, Christy, what did you think?
You know what? I think that, Scott, you're so right when you say you need to know the source material. You have to have watched the original Karate Kid movies to really to even understand what's going on here. And I think that is a little bit of a problem for this because I don't think that it leaves enough room for new fans to come in. I will say that being a fan of the original Karate Kids, I feel like this series does that movie franchise justice. I feel like they're true to these characters. I feel like these are characters that could have grown up into these men and women and had these lives. It's very real. I feel like they stayed true to the feel of the movies. It has that 80s feel. When I saw my first montage, I was like, here it is. It's so good. But I'm really enjoying this movie. I'm enjoying the stories. I like the direction they've taken with the 2 main characters. And I like how they're playing with a lot of gray area. Nothing's black and white. No one is completely good or completely evil. And showing the depth of these characters. Go ahead,
That
Scott.
is my biggest takeaway from the show. So, Andrew, we're saying you have to see the source material. Honestly, watch the very first one before you watch this. 2 and 3, there are certain things that they reference, but really, if you watch the first one and then go right to Cobra Kai, I'm not saying that the other 2 original ones were bad. I'm just saying if you really wanted to get into Cobra Kai, at least watch the very first one first, because that's really what they're talking about in this series. I love the fact that in the first season, we're pretty much telling a reimagination through somebody else's eyes, basically. Johnny is still kind of a prick, but he's less of a prick than we thought he was when you watch the first movie through Daniel's eyes, basically. So, and as you said, Christy, my favorite part of this is you get it through somebody else's eyes, and everyone's a shade of gray. Even Daniel is not the squeaky clean person that you think he was from the first movie. There's definitely shades of gray to this. I watched all of the first season, and I'm about halfway through the second season, and I can't think of another franchise where they did a spinoff and I'd rather watch the spinoff than the original. This might be it. Cobra Kai, in my opinion, is, I'm tipping my hand and I don't care. This is done better than the original. Yes, it has its throwbacks to the 80s and the time period when these characters first met, but it just does it in such a refreshing way because it says if you thought there was a good guy and a bad guy, there might be, but it's not as clear-cut as you thought it was.
Right.
Sometimes you play the hits. I say that a lot. But when people talk about like, oh, that's got fan service in it, like it's such a horrible thing to always have fan service. If your fans like something, play the hits. And that's what this show did. And this is one of my favorite shows of the year, by far.
Yeah.
Like I binged both seasons this week.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop watching it. And they're only about a half hour long. Sometimes some are 23 minutes and they get in about 37 at the highest. So it's not a biggest time commitment. But, man, I could not stop watching this show. Johnny's story is so good. It's so fascinating to see the other side of him because he, like Gash said, he is a prick. But he's trying to do the right thing. He keeps trying to do the right thing, and just the circumstances of life and circumstances of how he used to live creep up on him, and he just seems to can never get a step ahead. So, like, me watching him throughout this whole 2 seasons, I like him better than I'm more interested in his character than Daniel's.
Yeah.
But the dynamic between him and Daniel are at least the main focus of the first season, and it's still the focus of the second. But the second season gets into more of the kid stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not terrible. I definitely like the first season better, but the second season, I watched the whole thing, ends on a very good note.
Mm-hmm.
Not good when we're like not rosy red and great. Like this is the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy of seasons.
Yeah.
Because they did okay the third season. It's actually shot. It's coming out early next year. But not to tip my hand too early, but man, I love this show. I think the guy that plays Johnny is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
His facial expressions. He reminds me of people I just in wrestling that I came up with, like the good people, but man, they're hard. They're hard.
And what I like about Johnny's story is it shows that you really have to. A lot of people have to outrun their past, and it's so hard. Like your past follows you, and a lot of times it doesn't let you outgrow it. And I think that's one of the things that Johnny is always fighting with in this series is what people remember him as instead of what he's become.
Growth and character arc. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny has a huge arc throughout, especially the first season, but even in the second season. There are 2 specific episodes I want to bring up just little parts of. The first season I know you guys already talked about, so if we spoil a little bit of it, you have that in the archives already. I love the fact that they that they let the bad guy win at the end. Like the bad guy, quote unquote, won the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't just the good guy's gonna win, blah blah blah. The bad guy won the tournament. So I love that. In the second season, I'm not going to give anything away from the second season, but my favorite episode was the bonding between him and his childhood friends when one of them is sick. So that was my favorite episode that I've watched during the second season so far. And it shows them as normal people as opposed to this bad character that history has shown Johnny.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 favorite episodes so far.
The people who are writing this are doing such a great job. Because what you just said, the ending of the first season, like it doesn't work if the good guy wins, honestly.
Right.
Like it had to go the way it went, and it was beautiful. But like watching Johnny take his lessons of the past and then try to, because when you teach something, you taught the way you were taught, and he tries that, and he's doing that, but he starts to realize slowly that the stuff he was taught was not good stuff. And
He almost regrets winning at the end of the first season.
Exactly, yeah. And he learned so many lessons, and then he tries to teach some lessons to his kids. And I don't want to spoil season 2, but it's not going to go the greatest for him. And it's a shame. I can't spoil this. I want to talk spoiler. It's so good what they do with his character. By the end of season 2, like I need to know what's going on, But and Daniel does the same thing, and you're watching 2 teachers teach the way they were taught, and they're both not doing a good job. And I don't know if you're that far yet, Gash, but like it doesn't feel forced. They're playing the hits when they do this, but it doesn't feel forced. That's what you would do,
right?
As a student becoming a mentor.
Yeah.
Like there are a few scenes that I do feel are kind of forced. I'll get into them in a second. Go ahead. I'm going to cut you.
I will say the only negative I have about this series is that it is a little predictable. I did see some of the things. I did see the story going in certain directions. And so it was a little predictable to me. But I'm hoping as I get farther into season 2, it gets a little more unpredictable.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's do our final thoughts. What do you think, Gash?
Just to comment on what Christy just said, I agree that there is some predictability to it, but I feel like sometimes they do that on purpose so they can switch it up at the very end, like the end of the first season that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The story is well done. The first season was great. The second season, like I said, I've gotten through half of it, and I really like the direction it's taken. Just the fact that no character is pure white and pure black in this. It's all gray. There's no pure good guy, no pure bad guy. I love it. Pure pop for me.
Good.
Who would have thought that respecting the established canon and giving the fans what they want would be successful.
That's the thing, because
Oh, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up. The only negative I have, I'm sorry, Brandon, for
No.
cutting you off there, but the only thing that bothered me about this whole show is sometimes Billy Zabka, I'm not blaming him, I'm blaming the writing. They try to do fish out of water a little too much. It's 2020 and he's never been on Wi-Fi before. Like that's a little bit of a stretch. And some of the situations they put him into, I mean, they've showed him in a very dilapidated apartment and he doesn't have money. Well, where is he getting money to do some of the things that he's doing? I'll just leave it at that. So those are the only negatives I can find.
Yeah.
But to hit your point, like, yeah, play the hits. People want to see the hits. They're the hits for the reason, and that's what they did with this, and that's why I like this show. There's so many callbacks, but none of them. Maybe one feels forced to me, where he goes, and it was supposed to be funny. It's a spoiler in the first season where he goes to fix the dude's shoulder, and he goes like Mr. Miyagi, claps the hands together, and then he yells "medic,"
Medic!
which it was supposed to be funny, but like, why? What was he doing? Making a joke for the kid? Like that didn't make no damn sense. That was
No,
definitely
he was making a joke for us. That's what he was doing.
exactly. That's why that one felt a little forced. But honest to God, all the other ones did not feel forced. They threw back so well. I don't think they needed to fade back to the old movie and say, oh, this is what we're referencing. I don't think they needed to do that. But it didn't bother me that they did. Mm-hmm. Another thing I liked about it was the music. They used the same music from the damn movies.
Yes.
Of course.
Similar, very similar.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you? And it works.
Yeah.
It works so well.
Especially for a character that's trapped in the 80s. Like, Johnny is supposed to be trapped during his glory days when he was in high school and an All-Valley karate champion. Why not throw back to that music?
Yeah. And, I mean, really, so is LaRusso. So is,
They are.
they both are. One is trapped in the negative and one is trapped with people completely reminding him of who he used to be. And
they're both trapped in
Yeah.
their high glory days. That's what this whole show's about. This rivalry is going to get to a tipping point.
Yeah.
And it's going to be their fault. And that's what this whole first 2 seasons is about.
Yeah.
These guys
Man, I hope Johnny ends up kicking this kid's ass. I hope he kicks LaRusso's ass. Anyway.
trying to keep their glory days alive.
Yeah.
When you have to move on.
Yeah.
And they do reference that when Johnny doesn't know about Wi-Fi, and that's why how I took it. Johnny doesn't know what a damn phone does. He don't know what Tinder is. But there's some really funny moments coming up. I don't think you've seen them yet, Gash, in season 2 that they played well. Mm-hmm. But I think the reason, and I agree with you, him never being on Wi-Fi is kind of ridiculous. But I think what they're saying is these guys are trapped and they can't figure out how to get out, and now they're going to affect everybody.
Yeah.
And I love this show. Go ahead.
It's just like these 40-year-olds that have males that have real long hair down to the middle of their back and wear bandanas all the time. I don't understand these people. Just get over yourself and grow up already.
Well, see, he's mad because he don't have any hair.
That is it. You're right. I'm not gonna. He's right. He's right.
But I mean, if you can't tell, I'm definitely popping this. I think it's one of the best shows I've seen in a very long time, and it's one of the shows that I just cannot wait for season 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it for everything that you guys said. For me, it's so nostalgic. I actually want to go back and watch Karate Kid. Like, I think this is really well done, and I'm excited to see where they take it.
All right, that's 3 pops for the Karate Kid.